Okay. Ranger. Whew. We're doing well. We're doing well, boys. We're doing well. Only 5.5 hours in to the full balance patch analysis. Let us continue over to Ranger, over to the general changes here. Soul Beasts, long-standing, without a trade-off, are now receiving theirs. They lose combat access to a second pet and must choose carefully which pet they're going to be bonded with in battle. That is a really big deal, because having that versatility of having 2 pets is a really, really big deal, actually. Oh, wow. I mean, that is quite unfortunate for our soul beasts here as well. You're going to have to really pick your skills wisely, and you're going to have a lot less versatility, right, with what pet you have. But, you know, there wasn't really much of a drawback, right, with soul beast. So it had to happen. And I think this is actually quite an elegant one. It makes sense, right? Like, you get really up close and personal with one pet so you can be your pet, you know? That's good. Right? Makes a lot of sense there as well. But yeah, it will remove a lot of versatility there. I think this kind of this hurts the 1v. Well, the 1v1 soul beast will be okay, right? Because it will be able to you'll be able to go crazy and take a really tanky pet, but you're gonna, you know, because you don't really care about damage too much. But I feel like the damage type soul beast, it won't be able to have a defensive pet, and that could be a problem there as well. Even the 1v1 soul beast, you won't be able to take both defensives, like the resistance one and the damage immunity one there as well. So, no. There you go. Combat access, they still have 2 pets, but just not during a fight. Yeah, that's true, actually. So you can make, when you're running between nodes in PvP, you'll be able to go, aha, I need this pet in the fight. So, you know, for a 1v1, I use this pet. For a team fight, I use this other pet, right? That could be something. And that actually kind of has, like, a lot of quite interesting gameplay, like a lot of decision making, like quite like a big brain piece of gameplay there. You know, I think that's good. You know, I think overall that's quite solid, but yeah, that's pretty brutal. And merging is a pet swap, so now you can proc Clarion Bond and Zephyr Speed. That's quite interesting, though, actually, right? So when you go in Shroud into Soul Beast mode, you'll get your quickness, you'll get super speed, you'll get your might, fury, and stuff like that. I don't know. That kind of makes sense. Yeah, so, and you got to bear in mind, guys, power levels are going down across the board for all these all this stuff, so it really makes sense that, you know, some nerfs go to this all about the place anyway. So there you go. Lightning Assault. Electric Wyvern, a 5-millisecond warm-up before the dash occurs. Yep, you know, make the CC a bit more counterplayable. Not the most common ability to see play, but, I mean, yeah, there you go. Glyph of the Stars. Cooldown 60 seconds from 90. Okay. I see what we've got going on here. I like it. Will this see play over stuff like Nature Spirit in PvE? I think this is a PvE targeted change. I don't think so. Would this ever see play in PvP as like a res ability? If you do that, you have to give up your stability, right? You'd have to give up all your stability access with your elite, and it's interruptible. Yeah, okay. I'm not seeing the play, dude. You know, I'm not sure if Glyph of the Stars is going to see play. The 6-second cooldown is quite nice with the trait actually in PvE, so you can get a lot of juicy boons. But Strength of the Pack is good and probably will stay there, because getting stability is a big thumbs up if you're a ranger. You know, Call of the Wild uses unblockable. Yep, so basically now you get a few strikes of unblockable instead of just actually, you know, unblockable for a set time, which is a good change overall. Unblockable is kind of a mechanic that you have to be really careful with, and I think ArenaNet is doing a good job there. Throw Torch. This effect, skill now applies effect in a 180 radius around the target surrounded by the torch. Oh, I like that. That's kind of a little fun, a little AoE burner. Nice little buff to Conley Soul Beast in PvE. Winter's Bite. This skill is now always AoE, even when not traded with Honaxes. Increase bleeding stacks in PvE from 2 to 3 seconds. Increase bleeding duration in PvE from 8 to 12 seconds to match the PvP version. Okay. So that is actually quite a nice little buff, actually, to well, I guess Druid, actually, mostly, ironically, in PvE, because you use Dagger for Soul Beast, right? And Short Dagger and Short Bow. So, you know, yeah, I mean, fair enough, right? So Druid is just a little bit better. There's always AoE with the chill, which is quite big value, actually, because AoE chill is really nice, to be honest. Like, for a raid scenario, you can AoE chill ads and stuff like that. That can be good value. That can be good value. Okay. Honed Axes now gives the ferocity to your pet as well. And, well, you'll see why they're trying to compensate some ferocity onto the pet there in a little bit. You'll see why they're going for that approach there later on, because the pets are getting a little bit of a smush, as you will see. Hunter's Tactics. This trait now increases damage when attacking for the side by 10% in addition to its previous effects. That is, again, they're getting a bit of a buff there to Soul Beast. In PvE, I mean, you don't do a lot of Condi damage, power damage, really, with the Condi Soul Beast, but I don't know, still, it is there. Damage is damage. Hunter's Tactics, a little bit more extra spice, a little bit more extra souls, a bit more damage. You know, Dagger actually does a bit of damage, actually, on Soul Beast, power damage, so that actually will be significant to a certain extent there. So, yeah, that's a, good change. Soul Beast, actually, in general, in PvE, performs quite well, so I'm surprised to see them give that a little bit of an extra nudge. So, yep, seems good to me. Lead the Wind. No longer grants swiftness when performing a projectile combo. Instead, it grants swiftness for 10 seconds and quickness for 5 seconds, 2.5 seconds in PvP and Wolfsword, when striking with an attack from beyond 1,200 range. Oh my god, dude. What is this? Oh no. Wait a minute, boys. That is actually really spicy. That's actually a good trait. So when you're on longbow, right? You longbow someone from long range, then you get quickness and you can rapid fire them. I kind of like that. I like the flavor, right? It could be quite scary though. That is quite a scary trait actually. That quickness uptime, 2.5 seconds in PvP and World versus World. You can get some fat damage off in that time with Lead the Wind. That could be fun. That could be fun right there, man. That is good stuff. Yeah. Druidic Clarity. This trait no longer causes entering Celestial Avatar to stun break. Whoa! Whoa, whoa, whoa. No, Hideous Hero is not going to like that one. He is not going to like that one at all. I mean, yeah, I guess that's fine. They're reducing the amount of stun breaks. This is the one thing, and I want to kind of round this up at the end, actually. The reduction in stun breaks scares me a little bit. Because I feel that this might end up being a bit of a CC fiesta. Because, yeah, they're reducing the amount of stun breaks you have back to the core game, right? What the core game looked like. But they haven't reduced the amount of CCs to what the core game used to be like. And that is maybe a little bit worrying, but I'm sure we'll see that addressed. Later on, we see the same thing happen to Unstoppable Union here as well. This trait no longer causes entering Beast Mode to Sunbreak. You gain Protection and Vigor in addition to removing movement and conditions. That's actually a really nice change. That's a good trade-off there. Because Protection and Vigor are very strong boons, and getting those, like getting more dodges and damage reduction, is strong. Particularly seeing as you can actually make that give you condition damage reduction as well, using the other Soul Beast trait there as well. So yeah, that is good. Yeah. Gravwell buff is brutal. Wait, did they actually buff Gravwell? I thought they actually didn't do that, but hang on, I just want to check, because I may have misread that if that's the case. Let me go and check. Gravwell. Oh yeah, they reduced the cooldown to 60 seconds. Well, yeah, I guess that's probably is overall a bit of a buff, I suppose. But not when Chrono Omega Lul did. Chrono Omega Lul, my friends. Okay. Beastly Warden. This trait now has a 1-second delay before your pet taunts nearby enemies. Fixes a bug that can prevent this trait from working with underwater pets. Yep, once again, they're doing this. Give it a bit of counterplay, a bit more difficult to actually pull off yet. Makes sense. Good design. Clarion Bond. This now uses the new Unblockable. Yep, we already talked about that. Same thing as the Warhorn, as it called the Wild. Twice as vicious. Increase the damage and condition damage bonuses granted by this trait from 5% to 10% in PvE only. So just a buff to Power Soul Beast right off the bat. But guys, fun fact... this is actually a nice buff to Condi Soul Beast as well, because that means you can weave in using your CC to actually do more damage. Now, personally, I actually don't like this kind of design that much. This typically means that you end up using your CC skills in your rotation in PvE, which I'm not a big fan of. I feel like using your utility as part of doing damage, not a big fan of that. But Condi Soul Beast is going to be fat. Like, Condi Soul Beast is also kind of like a sleeper build. It is actually a sleeper build already. in PvE, and now it will actually be very, very strong. You got to do a lot of damage there. You know, I've heard, guys, you know how good this trait is now, apparently, that the 10% modifier on Soul Beast, with twice as vicious? I've heard that this actually means that you may end up using Storm Spirit on Soul Beast, right? Just to proc the CC every 16 seconds. Or something like that. I've been told that. And you use that to get the modifier to do more damage there. Which is, I don't know, that's kind of interesting, right? That's kind of an interesting meme there. But yeah, there you go. There is the changes for the general. That's the global stuff, guys, right? So that's the kind of like the mechanical changes in general. Now let's go over to the balance changes themselves for the ranger profession. So first, Druid, Lunar Impact, Cosmic Ray, Seed of Life, and Rejuvenating Tides get their healing slashed by about 33% there by the looks of that. Over 50% here. But to compensate, they did give it more Condi removal here on Seed of Life. I think this is good, actually. You know, make it more of... This is the condition one. This is the Healy one. So each skill, right, actually is going to end up having a bit of an identity here, right? So Cosmic Ray is like your generic auto attack heal. Seed of Life is your condition cleanse ability. Lunar Impact is your burst heal. And Rejuvenating Tides is your AoE sustain heal, right? Oh, no. I still, yeah, I kind of like the design there a little bit, if that makes any sense. You know, the bit of purity of purpose. And, of course, the fifth skill is still, you know, this AoE immobilize and slow effect that we know and love. So it makes sense. The days goes up on Lunar Impact, and that honestly can be a little bit scary, actually. You know, increasing these CC durations. Like I said, guys, you know, watch out for those stun breaks. You don't have those anymore, dude. You don't have that shit. But yeah, sure. Every heal in the game is getting nerfed down, guys, on Druid. On every heal, so I wouldn't worry too much about Druid. This does significantly reduce its sustain, though. But then again, it still has its stealth. It has its disengage. It has staff as well, if you really want to go in that direction. So yeah, you can... I think this is still okay. To have these nerfs here. I think it's okay. All right, so the Soul Beast merge skills. Swoop, which is the bird, which is you gotta go fast. 18 seconds, great, reducing mobility. Brutal Charge, which is the canines there, which I believe is a knockdown, has the damage gone to 0.01. Tail Lash, Devourer, reduce the power coefficient to 0.01. Yep, it's a CC, take it out here. Call Lightning, reduce the power coefficient from 0.5 to 0.4 on the Jacaranda. Yeah, you're just seeing a little bit of nerf here. Just overall, like, this is okay. The Maul on the Pork, it's gone down. The cooldown is up to 15 seconds. There we go. I'll tell you what, let's keep track of some of these skills by logging into the video game here and getting some of these pets in the mix here. So yeah, Brutal Charge the Pork, which is again a knockdown, 0.01. So, you know, it's purity of purpose. You can't do damage at the same time. Takedown on Smoke Scale, again, same, it's a CC, therefore 0.01. Yep, makes sense. Smoke Assault on the Smoke Scale. Might duration is down and power is down. Yep, standard nerf. This is all kind of in line. And then Wing Buffet, again, Wyvern, it's a knockback thingy, I believe. So yep, it's gone 0.01. All makes sense there. All standard stuff. CCs don't do damage anymore, guys. And a little bit of mobility pruning there as well on the swoop here as well, right? Like, that makes sense to me. I think that is it's a good gaming situation then. So, the Beast skills. Unflinching Fortitude, increase the cooldown from 35 to 50. And Worldly Impact, damage goes down by a little bit there as well. And yep, that's standard. Damage reduction is standard there. And they're reducing the amount of immunities you have there, reducing the sustain. Makes sense. This is the Unflinching Fortitude means is like Endure Pain. It's an Endure Pain situation, right? You go in Beast mode and then boom. You don't take any power damage for a while. Yep, makes sense. And then they did the exact... Dude, they did the exact same thing, dude, for all the pets there. All CCs, Brutal Charge, Terrifying Howl, Tail Lash, Fang Grapple, Spike Barrage. Oh, wait, no. All these are CCs. Damage, it's gone. It only sees Nice now. Enjoy, okay? Only CC, no damage. Spike Barrage, damage goes down a little bit. Yep, fair enough. I mean, Bristlebat doesn't really see a lot of play. But then again, if we're going back to kind of the old power level, maybe you would see that. Or maybe stuff like Druid, I guess. But, no, you know, currently, not so much. Rock Gazelle. Head toss, which is the F2. Again, it's a CC, no damage. And the charge damage goes down as well. I think Gazelle is kind of scary because it does a shit ton of fucking damage, actually. So maybe that might be one of the pets that needs to get further adjustment because of how much damage it actually does, just as a baseline. But this should honestly be fine. Because, like, Ranger in general is not great right now. So I think it's okay to have some, to have this sort of thing there. So I think this is good. Smoke scale, again, takedown 0.01, and smoke assault power coefficient down to 0.2. Yep, again, standard reductions across the board, all good. Wing buffet, same thing, kind of very similar to the pet skills here, really. And lightning assault power coefficient 0.6 to 0.01. Again, yep, same thing, right? Because that's the charge that does this CC, right, on the lightning weapons, right? On the crowd control. So, yeah, makes sense to me. On to the weapons. Great sword. Auto attack chain is down by about 33%, maybe a little bit aggressive actually on the enduring swing there as well, because they've reduced enduring swing a lot because it has that other component of giving you endurance back if it lands, right? Like what you'll see is it used to give you an evade, but now what it does is it gives you. Oh my god! I need to equip a greatsword to show the fucking ability. Hang on, where's my greatsword? Do I have one here? Oh, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? To go in my bank to find a greatsword? There we go. Alright, so what we have here is this, right? So it gives you some endurance, right? If you whack some people. So that's why it's not allowed to do as much damage because it does something else. Therefore, it's not allowed. Maul. Power coefficient down to 1.5 from 1.75. Less vuln and more cooldown. Yep. Less spammy, so you've got to use your ability wisely. But notice how it doesn't get nerfed as much as other skills are. This is because Ranger isn't God mode right now, and it's getting a cooldown increase. So they want Ranger to not get nerfed as much as other classes because it doesn't see play. So this is quite an intelligent change here, I think, as well. And also, it's worth noting that Maul having a really short cooldown doesn't really make a lot of sense because Hilt Bash actually refreshes Maul, so you can go for it again. Yeah, there you go. If you get them with the back hit there as well, so that makes a lot of sense there with Hilt Bash. Big value. So yep, that's a good change there. Swoop. Cooldown goes up, slightly less mobility and less damage there as well. Just then. Slightly less than standard, guys. Note that. It's less than standard because, again, Ranger is not amazing right now. This is a really obnoxious ability, and it's happening. They are increasing the cooldown 15 seconds to 25 seconds. And the damage on the counterattack kick goes down to 0.01. I think this is that enough, actually? Because, well, even though Ranger doesn't see a crazy amount of really high-level competitive play, counterattack is very obnoxious, right? It really is. It is a very obnoxious ability. It's a ridiculously high block up time. Right now, it's look how long this block is. Look at that. Look at that bar filling up there. And it has a very short cooldown of only 12 seconds. Because when you play this build, you typically also take the Greatsword trait, leaving you with a 12-second cooldown of a 3-second block. Okay, so you have like 25% block uptime on this skill alone. That has been significantly reduced. You could even argue that it should maybe be 30 seconds, actually, especially seeing as you'll be able to reduce it to 24 using the trait there as well with two-handed training. So yeah, you could maybe consider that going there as well. And counterattack kick, it used to do damage, now it doesn't. It's a CC, you don't get to do damage anymore. That's good too, because, dude, it did a lot of damage, and it's a good skill there. Hilt Bash, same thing. Cooldown goes down because it's losing all its damage, and that actually allows you to get more mauls in as well, right? Like, that gives you more CC potential and more opportunity there as well. Like, that means you're gonna have a 16-second cooldown Hilt Bash, which can be quite a strong daze actually, or a stun if you get them from the back. So yeah, oh no, that makes sense. That makes sense to me, and yeah, I don't know. I do think Ranger definitely needs to kind of stay where it is a little bit more than other classes, because it is one of the weaker classes in PvP right now. So yep, I will have to allow this. I'm afraid it seems good to me. It seems level-headed. Longbow, reduce the maximum power coefficient from 0.9 to 0.6. Reduce the minimum power coefficient from 0.7 to 0.466. I think, yeah, again, that's about 33% across the board there. Roughly, that makes sense. And honestly, this is actually Longbow is so aids in World versus World that they probably need to nerf it more in World versus World, because you can just, well, you have better gear, right? But in PvP, you won't really have better gear. And, dude, like, nerfing, I think it's really worth bearing in mind, guys. With all of these changes, bear in mind that they are nerfing 4-stat amulets, right? So if you want to play Marauder or Demolisher, you will be being less efficient now, than before. So, yes, the coefficients are going down, but the stats are going down as well. The runes are going down, the boon duration. There are so many moving parts right now, guys. It's really worth thinking about there. Hilt Bash is already 20 seconds. Hilt Bash is 20 seconds when traded. Without traded, it's 25 seconds. Yep. Okay, so there we go. So rapid fire, power goes down a little bit, and vulnerability goes down as well. That makes sense. 6 is the magic number, guys. And yeah, it's being reduced normally. Honestly, you could even make this a bit more in World War as well because of how absurdly strong it is and how much damage it really does. But yeah, sure, makes sense to me. Point blank shot, damage goes down to 0.01. Yep, that's how it is. Power coefficient is gotta go if it's a CC. Very good. Barrage, reduce the power coefficient. You know, this ability actually kind of hurts now. Everyone was like memeing on this ability, but it actually became good eventually. And now it faces the standardized nerf there as well. So it will still remain good. This is nothing out of the ordinary there. Short bow, power coefficient goes down. Yep, standard. It's a comedy weapon anyway. Who cares? Quick shot, cooldown goes up. This is an evade as well. This means this causes you to evade when you use your third short bow skill. And as a result of that, I am pleased that there is less evasion uptime. Because evasion uptime, guys, we don't want to see that shit. We don't want to see that shit here. As you can see, about here is the quick shot on 8-second cooldown. It's a little evade, a little mini evade and go back. Quite useful for dodging key abilities in PvE as well, actually. But this doesn't get nerfed in PvE, so it's okay. And concussion shot. Didn't really do any damage anyway. Does even less damage now. Use it as a CC. Don't use it for damage. But it may actually see usage. Well, it already does, right? To a certain extent in PvE to get that twice as vicious proc here to get some more damage. But it will now almost certainly see that now that's being buffed to 10%, which is very, very juicy. Okay. Sword. Damage reduced as standard, and Monarch's leap damage reduced in particular because it's a leap skill. It's mobility, it shouldn't do damage as well. So, yep, makes sense. Standard stuff there as well. Yeah, I don't think people really like the new sword that much. And it does still have a good chunk of evades on it. And I think they are leaving Soul Beast like this because they want it to at least be able to try and compete. If they nerfed like all the evades and mobility on Soul Beast, it would be even worse than it already is, right? So they're kind of keeping some of it there to see if it will... They're keeping it there to see if it will float, right? See if it will be able to swim. If it's got any legs after the balance patch there as well. I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe I'll see it because there is actually a bit of fringe viability on Soul Beast. Like you do see it get played. It will get to finals and daily ATs. It will do well, with a skilled player like Hideous Hero playing it or Boyce, for example, right? So maybe by getting it less nerfed than the other classes, you might see some Soul Beasts kind of creeping back into the game. And that's always good. We want as much variety as possible, right? Like different builds, different varieties of players and classes. That is what we like to see, really. Okay. Axe main hand. Damage getting reduced a lot, actually. Getting chunked down significantly. And you get half the might. Oof. Oof. That is a brutal one right there. Split blade. Reduce the power coefficient. Whoa. Quartering it. But you do get double bleeding in exchange for an increased cooldown, actually. And you get more bleeding on Winter's Bite as well. So it looks like Axe is going to be repurposed definitely more a combi-focused weapon than for sure. Before it was almost a bit of a hybrid to the point where you would actually see Axe main hand be played on 1v1 Soul Beast. Right, you would see 1v1 Soul Beast you would use because it has Winter's Bite in particular, right? Weakness, chill, and Axe auto attacks and split blade would actually do a surprising amount of power damage. Now that isn't going to be the case. So yeah, this is a good design approach here, I think, for this here as well, like making it more of a a less damaging weapon, more of a condi focus weapon, without the power focus there as well. So yeah, there you go. Like you can't have your cake and eat it too with utility and damage, power damage rather. And Coddy, so less hybridized here, a bit more specialized. Yeah, I think that is good overall there as well. Axe offhand, I wonder if Axe Offhand is getting... Oh, yeah, Axe Offhand is getting bopped a little bit here as well. Oh, yeah, but here's Path of Scars, which is the pull, right, is going down to no power damage. Now, this is an interesting one. It actually did used to do a fair bit of damage. Now it will do very, very low DPS there as well. It is a strong effect, right, that pull. But losing the damage as kind of that ranged attack, that actually is... That does kind of hurt. I felt that's almost a bit disproportionate there. It's for the case... It's... Was the damage on this skill really that really that problematic? Maybe not. I think this is a change for uniformity rather than meme. Like, this is quite a hard skill to land. It does have a pull, but it doesn't pull you all the way. Yeah. Maybe that's a little bit undeserved, I think, potentially. It can maybe do a little bit of damage, a little bit. And I think that's what we'll see. They've gone really hard here, which I like, by the way. I love the design approach that they're going to take. Make it extreme, make it big, make it bold, okay? Then you can bring it up if it's necessary, right? And I think that's what we'll see with Path of Scars, potentially, in a few patches. Whirling Defense. Damage down, 33%. Standard. Vuln duration down, standard. Nothing out of the ordinary there. Dagger Offhand. Increased cooldown by 10 to 15 seconds, and Crippling Talon reduced the power coefficient from 0.75 to 0.5. So the Stalker Strike is the evade on Dagger Offhand. Dude, I am impressed that I seem to know most of the abilities in the game. This pleases me. So yeah, they're reducing the evasion uptime just all over the place there, and that's good. Evade uptime is not good, and that's probably why they didn't do too much on sword with reducing the mobility and the evade there, because they're doing it with the dagger offhand as well. Although I believe you actually played Warhorn with the 1v1 Soul Beast instead of this, so I mean, I don't know. There you go. That's just how it goes, I guess, boys. And Crippling Talon does a lot less damage too. That's because Crippling Talon is a condition-focused kind of utility weapon there as well. Kind of a fun one, actually. These are the dagger offhand. I actually like the design on this weapon quite a lot, actually. So you've got Crippling Talon, right, which bleeds and cripples. It's an ammo skill, which is kind of fun. And then Stalker Strike poisons and deals more poison if they've got a movement impairing effect, like Cripple from Crippling Talon, right? So kind of a fun little interaction there as well. And 5 stacks of poison is not to be sniffed at, but certainly more of a Condi focused weapon now. Like, we've seen that Stalker Strike significantly got more poison stacks there as well. However, it does do power damage as well, so it is a little bit of a hybrid weapon still there as well. It can be used in multiple places and multiple types of builds, so yeah, sure. It may be a bit of a weapon with a bit of an identity crisis right now, but having that source of evasion may prove very handy to Soul Beast, and with some of the nerfs to a lot of these of the boon output here, which you see on the Warhorn with Call of the Wild, having the might duration going down to 6 seconds from 10. I don't know, like Dagger may see some experimentation. I believe it already was. I think some people did actually play this. I think back in the day you would play this. You would play Sword Dagger. Was it Axe Sword Dagger or something like that? It was Axe and then maybe like Sword Warhorn or Sword Dagger. Those are like the builds that are floating around all over the place. Oh no, there we go. Immob spam Druid will be a thing, and oh dear, yeah. I think with power level coming down, Druid may end up being a little bit spicier potentially, but losing their stun break does suck, and some of the healing there as well. But I don't know, it's I don't know. A Druid is kind of a bit of an anti-fun class. I don't mind it not really being around, but we'll see about that. So Hunter's Call also gets a third of its damage removed. Yep, standard. That's just the same thing. This is actually a good ability. It was a bit like Ray of Judgment. Like, once the birds are on you, you can't get them off. So yeah, this probably shouldn't do a crazy amount of DPS right off the bat. So, Dagger main hand. Now, Dagger main hand is weird. It actually has a 4-chain attack skill, which is kind of fun, auto attack. And, well, damage, getting a bit of a slap across the board, but noticeably less to the final one, because you've got to go through an entire chain to get there, which is fair enough. Also, this is not something that really sees a crazy amount of play in PvP anyway, so I think, they're being conservative here to, not give it too much of the hammer, because it doesn't need it, right? So, fair enough. And the bleeding on Dagger 2, you 3 stacks for 6 seconds, now it's 2 stacks for 9 seconds. That's actually identical amount of damage output, but just slower, more in conditioned flavor. Good change. Instinctive Engage, reduce quickness duration from 3 seconds to 1.5 seconds. Ooh, yeah, quickness uptime, is a bit of a bop right there. Oh yeah, not the end of the world. Heal skills. We heal as 1. Increase the cooldown from 25 seconds to 30 seconds. Yep, that's fine, in line with everything else. You can also reduce this to 24 with the shout skill if you want, which is quite powerful, right? You can get that down again if you so desire it. Troll Unguent. This is a really amazing heal skill because it's a survival, which removes 2 conditions and procs the immob and the another 2 conditions removed there as well. So yeah, this skill is very strong and it probably does deserve this increase. In fact, it's vital to increases if you want to reduce the sustain of classes, particularly stuff like Druid. So yeah, this makes sense. In fact, almost every range build would use this simply because of how good it is with the survival trait line, wilderness survival trait line. So yeah, that makes sense. Yep. Glyph of Rejuvenation, reduce the self-heal skill, self-heal coefficient from 1.708 to 1.25, and reduce the ally heal coefficient from 1.4 to 1.0. Yep, that's just a standard support reduction there as well. Oh, and the Celestial version is the opposite, right? Because it's the inverse, right? Like, this is slightly glitched out on the wiki. This should be here, right? Yeah, so, again, it's just standard nerf. Bear Stance. Cooldown is 30 seconds. Yep. There you go. That's another standard thing there as well. Bear Stance, yeah, this is actually a really strong effect, actually, with Stance Share. So I think ArenaNet is wise to be cautious with this ability. It's a very, very strong effect, I think. PvE Dance Game, this is literally a PvP balance patch. Are you never happy, Mel? I don't know what to tell you. Now we go over to the utility skills. Lightning Reflexes. Reduce the power coefficient from 1 to 0.1. This is actually a really interesting meme. This is a fun fact about this ability. Lightning Reflexes actually does damage. You do like a little crack of lightning, right? When you use it. Hang on, let's use it. Look. But see that yeah. That is it does a little bit of damage, but now it doesn't, because it is, of course, a utility skill. It is not there for damage. It is for getting out of trouble, giving yourself some vigor, and it's a survival, so giving yourself some condition removal. I wonder if they address this synergy here, because it's real good. Wilderness survival is fucking fat, but I guess Soul Beast kind of needs it to keep up, really. I think it's actually not that imbalanced when you consider it in the grand scheme of things, actually. Yeah, it's it's fine. Especially with increasing the cooldowns of stuff like Troll Unguent. I think it's okay-ish, especially seeing a Soul Beast isn't truly amazing right now. I think it's kind of alright. Okay, Quickening Zephyr. Reduce the quickness and super speed from 6 to 4. Reduce the cooldown from 45 to 40. Again, so you've got that window, you have that time to strike, and, you can go ahead and use it. I think that makes sense to me. Of course, it is a survival as well. A lot of ranger builds use this trait here, Wilderness Knowledge. So that will go down even further. From 40 seconds to even less than that, actually. It will go down to 32 seconds instead of 36. So, yep. That is actually a pretty good change. A nice little buff there as well to kind of like one-shot Soul Beast as well. You'll be able to use it because you don't really need that much there. But the 6 second of super speed actually does kind of suck a little bit because, that was a really nice bit of mobility to really help the Soul Beast kind of get out of harm's way there. But then again, they're trying to kind of curtail that a little bit. So that does make sense. They're making that change. Glyph of Alignment, increase the cooldown from 20 seconds to 25 seconds. That's just a general cooldown increase. I don't want you spamming your abilities too much. Glyph of Tides, reduce the power coefficient from 1.5 to 0.01. Yep, it's a CC skill. It can't do damage. That's actually quite a lot of damage. Actually, I didn't realize it was that high. And the cooldown's going down to 20 seconds as well. Like, dude, decap Druid, anyone? Any decap Druids in the chat, guys? Dolyak Stance. Stun break and stability and damage reduction goes up to 60 seconds. Woo! Woo! That is a bit of an oof, actually. It's for that kind of that 1v1 sustained Soul Beast there. That hurts, to be honest. Especially seeing as you can't reduce that. The stance rate doesn't reduce it either in any way. That is quite harsh. And then again, it is a very powerful ability, so I think they want you to think about using it a lot more. That might be a little bit on the harsh side, because Soul Beast isn't like God mode right now, and I think a lot of other classes can do kind of similar stuff without a 60-second cooldown on it. Especially with the general survivability kit is better for other classes, right? So but well, never mind. We'll see. That does seem a little bit harsh. Griffin Stance, reduce might For duration from 8 seconds to 6 seconds. Yep, that's standard. That's fine. Okay. Mower stance. Reduce bonus boon duration from 66% to 20%. Whoa! They do not want you using that. I guess. That is, that's quite brutal, actually. Did it really deserve that? Maybe 33% would be a little bit better. Poor old mower stance. Then again, Boon Beast was very good. You know, you bounce the boons back and forth. You use We Heal as one. You use your cause yeah, check this out, guys. Hang on, let me log on to the ERP Lord. Do you know why they're doing this? I'm gonna show you guys why they're doing this. They want to, and this is obviously very extreme. I'm gonna show you an extreme example of this, right? Deltax, thanks for the tier 1, my friend. Really appreciate that. Ooh, big sub there. Big fucking sub. So they want you, because Soul Beast right now has like a bit of a meme potential where you can kind of pop all your boon abilities, right? Then you use We Heal as one, then you hit F5, and then, oh, yep, I have loads of protection, loads of swiftness, loads of vigor, 25 stab, loads of fury, and loads of quickness as well. This is an extreme example, obviously, but in general, they really want to shut down boon application in general. If you throw a Warhorn into that there as well, you toot your horn, you get might, you bounce the might, you get 25 might, right? That, you know, they want to shut that sort of thing down. So yeah, that overall makes sense on Mower stance, I guess, and they want to make it an impactful ability, which, you know, 20% is still going to be, it's still going to mean something, and you do still get a good chunk of boons there as well. Let me put on a slightly more realistic amulet real quick. There we go, fucking demolisher, that'll do. You know, you do still get a good chunk of boons. You get some protection, fury, swiftness, and regen, and a duration increase there as well. Oh, it's already 33%, so it's not getting walloped as much as I actually thought there. Yeah, it's already it's already on 33, so it's not actually the end of the world there, but still, it is a powerful ability, made somewhat less powerful, so I guess it makes sense. Okay, Glyph of Equality, which is the AoE Daze, doesn't do any damage anymore, makes sense. Spike Trap, doesn't do any damage anymore, makes sense. Wait, what? Reduce the power coefficient from 0.2 to 0.01. Adjusted the bleeding from 6 stacks. Wait, from 6 stacks for 6.25 seconds to 1 stack for 1 second. Reduce cooldown from 30 seconds to 20 seconds. What did Spike Trap ever do to you, ArenaNet? Did CMC like die to a Trapper Ranger in ranked or something? I mean, I guess it's a CC skill, so it's not allowed to do any Condi damage either. But I guess that makes sense, right? Yeah. CC is not allowed. You can't do CC and damage. Cannot exist. I guess it makes sense. It's in line. It is in line. It makes a lot of sense. Because, you know, dude, that Condi Trapper Ranger, it's pretty AIDS, dude. You know, it runs around and puts the traps down, and you die to the traps. And now you won't die to the traps anymore. They're going to have to actually play the game and do some damage to you to do that shit. But yeah, that is true. Exactly, you're right. You're not wrong there, CMC. The fucking cooldown on this shit is only 20 seconds. Like, Trapper Ranger is going to be about the place. That is high energy, dude. That is high energy. You be running around going crazy. Yeah. I'm okay with the Spike Trap. I'll allow it. And then the elite skill here. Strength of the Pack. Reduce the might duration from 10 seconds to 6 seconds. Reduce the stability duration from 8 seconds to 6 seconds there as well. Okay. That is fine. Yep, that's fine. Just normal. It's still going to be a good skill. Just right off the bat there as well. Probably the go-to pick, I would say. The stability is really, really nice, especially when you combine it with the bouncing abilities with, say, Soul Beast or We Heal as one. So, yeah, that is a good meme. You know, however, weakening that ability, I mean, oh, no. Glyph of Stars? No. No way, right? I mean, could the Glyph of Stars Res Dream be real, guys? I don't think so. There's no way, right? There's no way. Maybe it could because all the other res shit's getting nerfed and damage is a lot slower, but I don't know, you've got no stability on Druid if you take this. If you take this, you have 0 stab and you're useless and you're going to get interrupted in feed. It's not going to be good. It is a big buff though, Finn, especially if you trait it, but you will take Celestial Shadow, obviously. But, no, I'm not seeing it. I don't see it. I don't see the full support Druid. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not seeing it right now anyway. Because you just don't have... You're so vulnerable to CC as Druid. You won't even have a stun break after this. Because your Druidic Clarity isn't a stun break anymore. So there you go. I'm not sure about that. But here we go. So, trait time. Stone form removed from the game with a 300-second cooldown. Very good. No one likes that passive shit. Will be replaced at a later time. Don't worry about it, guys. Lesser Call of the Wild. It's kept in line with the actual Warhorn ability. Boons reduced there. That's fine. Sharpen Edges. On crit traits are bad. And we don't like them here anymore. Reduced now to 1 second. Primal Reflexes. Reduce the Vigor duration from 8 seconds to 4. This is an attempt to reduce the Vigor uptime and the evade uptime on classes here as well. That's good. Vigor is a very strong boon. Don't underestimate it. So I think this is a perfectly fine change. Vigor uptime has seen attacks across the board. I think this is okay. Strider's Defense. Reduce the quickness duration from 3 seconds to 1.5 seconds. Yeah, sure. Really high quickness uptime, too much quickness is not good. This is actually still surprisingly high quickness uptime, especially if you combine it with range of boon bounce abilities or a little bit of boon duration. So I think that is A-okay in my book. Wilderness Survival, Rugged Growth. This is actually, where is it? Where is Rugged Growth? Yeah, it's the Grandmaster Miner. Reduce the base heal from 259 to 159. This means whenever you have protection, you gain like a ticking health regen there as well. This actually got nerfed quite a lot. Actually, you know, a bit over 33%, I think. Yep, that's fine. I think that is fine, like, because I think Soul Beast is one of those classes that could become almost unkillable if it's left unchecked, like in the 1v1 situation with the evades, with the sustained healing, with Troll Lunge and stuff like that. So yeah, this is probably a good approach. Like, yeah, so this is fine. Lesser Muddy Terrain from Child of Earth. Reduce the duration from 10 seconds to 4 seconds. Ah, yeah, that's good. That is pretty damn good. The slow pulse, you only get 2 pulses now instead of 5 pulses. And that is much better because this trait is really annoying and slow. No one likes slow, guys. It's AIDS. They nerfed that before because it used to be like a 4-second emob. Now it's not a 4-second emob anymore. Feels good, man. Taste for Danger. Reduce Vitality to Expertise conversion, 74%. Yep, that's fine. Not really a overly... relevant trait anyway, but maybe it would be for the insane Trapper Condi build. Who knows? Refined Toxins. Poison duration goes down from 6 to 4. That just reduces the poison uptime. This actually generates quite high poison uptime right off the bat to kind of apply pressure and reduce healing output. So yeah, that's getting reduced now as well. You know, again, it's a passive. You'll see a lot of passive abilities have been reduced in potency. It's really, they're really pushing the game towards active gameplay, which is very, very, very good indeed. Shared Anguish. Increase the cooldown from 90 seconds to 300 seconds. We don't want any of that passive bullshit around here, do we, boys? We don't want any passive traits ever. And that's why Shared Anguish is going up to infinity. So that just removes those, that removes the choice there. You will not play that trait. It is trash. Nature Magic. Oh, hang on. Got the wrong one up there. Nature Magic. Rejuvenation. Reduce the regeneration duration from 5 seconds to 3 seconds. This just means that when you get struck, you get less regen. That's fine. Get your own regen, you blow yourself, you lazy sword. Like, toot your horn with your Warhorn trait or use some shouts or something, okay? Don't just, like, AFK and let a trait do it for you. I'd like to see a lot of these passives actually just get changed into something a little bit more spicy, if possible. And I think ArenaNet would like to do that as well. I'm pretty sure anyway. I'm pretty sure they would like to. But we'll see down the line. Lingering Magic, reduce concentration from 240 to 120. Yep, exactly what you'd expect. They're just going to reduce general boon duration application. Concentration and expertise are going to be a lot more hard to come by, so this is fine. And again, boons on Soul Beast. I don't mind Boon Beast existing like a very boon-oriented build, but you have to be careful it doesn't get out of control, because it has been out of control before, and it wasn't very good. We've had boys literally 1v4 people on node as well. You've got to be very, very careful about it for sure. Instinctive Reaction, reduce the quickness duration from 3 to 2. Yep, that is completely fine. That's just like when you get, again, when you get struck, fine. You know, you're going to get some quickness and like, I've been hit. Like, I have to go really fast now. Yep, this is fine. I want to say it's not a not a particularly good trait in PvP anyway. It's all about that allies aid. Now, this is actually, dude, this is going to be a sleeper OP trait because all the other res shits got nerfed. Now, Druid is the only one that has the degeneracy left over. Well, actually, no, that's not true because all the other classes have an ability, like the glyph res and the signet for Guardian. So there's still some degeneracy, but this is also quite degenerate too. Long cooldown, though, so not too bad. All right, Windborne notes. Reduce the... Oh, well, I said get your own region. Well, now you can't do that either. You know, honestly, I feel like some of the regen is not that good on a lot of these builds because you don't typically play a lot of healing power on the 1v1 Soul Beast builds. Maybe you'll end up being forced to and play almost like a bunker and not really do any damage to kind of get value out of all these short bursts of regeneration. Because like upkeeping regen might be a little bit tricky now. Then again, you'll probably have some other traits that contribute. You're going to have to actually use your abilities to be a big brain, though, to actually get decent uptime there as well. But there we go. We'll see about that. And Protective Ward, weakness duration goes down, exactly as you expect. That's fine. Same with Wilting Strike there as well. And lesser Quickening Zephyr. Because Quickening Zephyr got nerfed, they also nerfed this one as well. That's fine. Also bear in mind, guys, when this on Soul Beast, whenever you merge, this will also proc that as well in Beast Mastery as well. So that could be potentially interesting. Like, go in Beast Mode and then start immediately sniping someone with a longbow. That sort of thing. Could be a fun one. Yeah. Right. Onwards, my friends. Druid. Live vicariously. This means whenever you heal someone, you get healed. And that's getting nerfed down a lot. Now, yeah, that's... that is quite a lot of sustain, particularly if there's another player with you in the plus. But yeah, that's just kind of being brought down in line there. Natural... That is actually a really big nerf, though. Natural Mender is a huge nerf. Because you'll always have 10 stacks. This is a weird trait, because you basically always have 10 stacks of Natural Mender. Whenever you heal someone, you get... a buff that means you get even more healing, right? So yeah, it's very easy to get 10 stacks of that, and that's a really big nerf. You basically lose 10% healing on Druid, in addition to all the other nerfs there as well, which is a big deal. Oh, Celestial Shadow, yes, dude, this trait is so annoying. I'm glad they nerfed that. 3-2, lovely, very good. And Grace of the Land, Might duration is down. I don't think that would ever really see play while stuff like Ancient Seeds and even Lingering Light exists. Honestly, with the reduction in healing, Lingering Light might see a bit of a comeback for some Druid builds in PvP, actually. But Ancient Seas, like the Hideous Hero build, is very obnoxious. And I wouldn't be surprised to see that kind of sticking around there a little bit, even after all the sustained nerfs there as well. So yeah, there you go. That's basically it for Druid. Now, Soul Beast, Live Fast. Reduce the quickness duration from 3 to 2 seconds. Live Fast. That means when you go use a beast skill, you gain fury and quickness, and now you get less quickness. And this is kind of a bit of a weird trait, actually, with the way it works, because you get the quickness after the beast skill, right? So it doesn't make using the beast skill faster, you get it afterwards. You can kind of follow up immediately after. But yeah, I don't know. Fair enough, right? That typically gets overruled by stuff like Unstoppable Union, or fresh reinforcement, right? Rather than this. Like, this is not a trait you typically see played. Your face is getting keyed out? Yeah, I like it, though, dude. You know, that's good. That is some good shit. All right, an Eternal Bond deleted from the game, 300 seconds. No passives here, boys. No passives. Never. Unbelievable. Get them out. Okay. Good stuff. That's it for Ranger. So, for Ranger, Pets got a heavy nerf. Pets are not going to be able to do nearly as much damage with their special CC abilities. They'll still do a good chunk of damage passively for the Ranger as well, so it's not quite as bad as you might think. Soul Beast didn't get hit that hard, actually, compared to other classes. So Soul Beast might see a bit of a new, maybe a little bit of a new lease off, or something moving towards that, to a certain extent at least. That's both variants there as well, kind of like the Sniper Beast and also the 1v1 build. So I think that's quite good changes there as well overall. And Druid didn't really... I feel like what makes Druid good didn't hit that hard. It will still be able to heal quite effectively, I think. You're just going to have to really be quite careful about it. But that's what we see with all support classes. It's just not going to be as unkillable. And especially like the Celestial Shower change, that is going to... reduce its ability to just like completely leave you in the dust when going in CA. So yeah, good stuff. Yeah, so we only get one pet while in combat though. They're making it so that you can't swap pets in combat. Yeah, that is a big nerf actually. That is quite a strong nerf, but it does need a drawback. And a lot of the other stuff it means that Soul Beast is going to be a bit less versatile, and you won't have access to like the resistance thingy and also the damage involved as well. Or you'll have to just go for the Ecto, I guess, with the pig, right? But that actually because the pig is so inconsistent, you might see people moving away from the pig actually for that reason, because you don't get the plasma every single time. So yeah, that is a pretty oof. A pretty oof meme for Soul Beast. So overall, I think it actually, like, I've got kind of a feeling it's got away with it. I feel like Soul Beast kind of got away with it. But yeah, it's definitely going to prevent that disengage. Right? Exactly, random. Yeah, that's a really good call, right? You know, being able to just like immediately run away with like a 1200 range leap with the bird was a little bit. Oh, I'm having a good time, right? They've curbed the mobility, but that's a good thing. I think Soul Beast will, you know, potentially still be around after these changes. Well, it isn't right now, but it might be more around, you know, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, some good changes to Ranger, I think.